said, and we're doing a major documentary on Randy Rhoads to be released in 2009. And I said, cool. And he said, yeah, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne are going to be in it, and everybody affiliated with Randy Rhoads from the early days, and then they wanted to pick certain guitar players who kind of took the mantle from Randy and ran with it afterwards. And he said, I want you in this movie. So what we did was, I was on tour. I came back to LA about a month later in September of last year. We went into this Hollywood soundstage, and Peter not only is a big director, and Dakota Pictures did Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey and a lot of other big movies. And he set up a wall of early 80s and late 1970s Marshalls that Randy Rhoads, part of Randy Rhoads' rig. And so I had this wall of vintage Marshalls, and we filmed me playing the double solo. It was like about a 15 or 16 hour shoot. They filmed it at least 15 or 16 times, every camera angle you can imagine. Like they had cameras on those little railroad tracks where the guy just moves back and forth. I mean, it was amazing. But the movie will be out next year. And I've been advertising it on my website, but you'll hear about it. I mean, I'm not the only one in it. There's some really great guitar players that are also in on this, but just look for it. It's a major Randy Rhoads documentary that will be coming out. Now, why am I saying all this? Because the next song that I'm playing is what you're going to hear in the movie. The drums and everything you hear, all these tracks are from my solo CDs, so they're not, I mean, I'm really good with computers, but they're not programmed drums. It's not keyboard bass. It's my drummer from Nitro, Bobby Rock. He's the drummer on all these tracks that you hear. And this next song, I wanted a little more authenticity. So I asked Ozzy's original bass player, who's a friend of mine now, Rudy Sarzo, if he would play on the track, and he did. So the track you're going to hear now is my tribute to Randy Rhoads, called Tribute to Randy, with Ozzy's original bass player on bass. Now, one last thing for the guitar gurus in the audience. When you play, I'm going to do Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, but I want to do it my way. It's not just, and I wanted to do some research on this. I wanted to see how other people do it. So where did I go? YouTube, of course. So I punched in Randy Rhoads Crazy Train, 9 billion solos came up, and I watched everybody and their sister and brother play the Crazy Train solo tapping like Randy Rhoads did, going, and I said, oh, that's great. And so I said, well, what am I going to do that's different? How can I make this different? And I'm a keyboard player, so I was sitting in my studio getting frustrated, thinking, I'm going to end up playing that same old. And I sat on my keyboard, I had it on a piano sound, and I did this arpeggio, and I went, wait a second. I know what I can do. So during the Crazy Train solo, I've come up with a completely different way to make it sound very similar. There's a thing in music called a melodic contour. That means if you hear dun 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 dun, that's the contour. But if I went dun 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 I still follow the melodic. Contour. I embellish it. And so what I did on Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley is I followed Randy Rhoads' melodic points. But I made it my own by, instead of tapping, I played arpeggios. Why? Because it has 50,000 extra notes. I like that. And it still sounds very similar. So anyway, this is track 3.